Take away, Carson.
Welcome back, Unqualified sports fans. This week, we're covering all the big news and topics from our favorite sports. But first, we have a very special guest. Definitely one of the most exciting players in college basketball this past season, and a favorite of ours, especially mine and Bryce's, to throw on at those 11 o'clock games and watch throughout the depths of March. We've got Obadiah Noel. How's it going, Obi?
Going on, man? What's up? What's up?
Definitely a pleasure having you on. Definitely really fun watching you this season. But we'd just like to first of all ask you, like, is there something you want to tell us about yourself? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, for those people who are listening that don't really know you.
Well, yeah, you pretty much said it. I'm Obadiah Noel. I go by Obi. Uh, from Maryland, Frederick, Maryland, to be exact. I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people don't know about me is I come from a very strong Caribbean background. My parents are actually from Guyana, so I'm very cultured in that in the Caribbean side, and actually it says a lot about my personality and the way I play the game. It's just I have a different type of chip on my shoulder, just being raised in a Caribbean household and stuff like that. Um, that's pretty much it for something somebody wouldn't know. But I want to get into telling my whole story. I don't know if like what the whole timeline and what y'all got planned, so I'll just stop right there. But yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And before we jump into the meat and potatoes of it, I have to ask. Well, first of all, are you a football fan at all?
Not really. I don't really watch football. I'm sorry.
Okay, then
Nah.
then then this question probably wouldn't apply, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. But does anybody ever tell you look like Justin Fields? Have you ever been told
Hmm.
that?
I haven't heard that, but like that name sounds very familiar though.
Look him up. You look exactly like him.
Justin Fields. Okay,
Yeah,
I gotta check him out.
but yeah, we'll jump into the interview questions just right off the bat. Um, Obviously, your transition from high school to UMass Lowell, like it wasn't an overnight thing. Like, how was the transition from high school to, obviously you had one scholarship offer and that was to UMass Lowell, and now you're essentially an NCAA star. Like, what did that process? What's that transition look like?
Man, that transition wasn't easy at all.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back at it, I don't know how I did it. It was literally a grind every day my freshman year. My freshman year, by far the hardest year throughout, hardest year in college basketball. It's just I was just really dedicated and I just trusted the process. A lot of people in my situation probably would have left uh,
Mm-hmm.
going in, coming out being the player of the year of my city, and then being the eighth man off the bench. It was it was tough, but I just kept working, kept grinding. Throughout the season, I started getting more and more playing time. Things started to pick up, and end up finishing the season, my rookie season, making all rookie team and stuff like that. But by far, man, it wasn't easy at all. I think once I got through my freshman year, things started getting easier and easier, and then I just began to blow up.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit more about, what it's like being essentially by far the best player in your conference. Is there like an extra chip on your shoulder going into games? Is there an expectation that um, has been set? Like, what's that look like going into games, being the star of your conference?
Um, you most definitely have to have a chip on your shoulder because now at that point, it's like you have a target on your back.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are trying to catch you purposely and stuff like that. But nah, man, I approach every game the same. I just try to go out there and kill, play my game, not do anything extra. But most definitely, I try to go out there with the same mentality. But as I got older, like my mentality from my freshman year till now is completely different. I have a bigger role now, so I just go in there and just do what I have to do, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And 21 points a game's no easy job for sure.
Oh,
But
sir.
going into those games, like, there's no secret. The other team knows. Like, obviously, you're an explosive scorer. Like, do you make adjustments going into these games? The coaches work with you, or you just go and play where you're comfortable?
A lot of people don't know this, but I watch a lot of film, a ton of film. So I know who's going to be guarding me. I know how they play defense and stuff like that. So before we play any team, I know I know for a fact how they're going to guard me. Are they going to trap? Are they going to, try to make me go this side, go this way? Are they going to go under screens and stuff like that? So um, they try to make it tough for me. So I just try to make my job easier as possible, to like already know what's going to happen and just try to beat them to it. Uh, but now I try to go out there and just, like I said, just play my game. But it gets hard when teams are scouting you, especially this year, the COVID year, and you playing teams back to back. That's
Mm.
tough. And
Mm-hmm.
for anybody who averaged a lot of points, I tip my hat off to them because it was tough, man. Like they have that scout, like right after you play them, like next game, have that fresh in your head. Like, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. But nah, I just, I study film. I know what guys like to do. Some teams like to play more physical. Some teams like to, you know, let me go certain ways and stuff like that. But nah, I attack the game the same way.
Well, you kind of perfectly segued into my question. So, a lot of like your top tier schools for basketball, like your Dukes, your UNCs, right? You know
Mhm.
exactly what those guys are doing on a day to day basis, right? They have interviews that show their day to day lives and all that kind of stuff. But being at a smaller school, you don't really get that kind of exposure, right? Like to the day in the life. So what does a day in the life of Obi Noel look like?
Ooh, let me see. Let me see. See, it's different. COVID year versus a regular year. I
True.
give it a COVID year because I remember it more my COVID year. So at UML we have practice like at 12, and before that I have class from like 9 to like 11:30 or something like that. I have some classes in between, and so I wake up, eat breakfast, go to class. Then I try to get to the gym early as possible. Um, get ready, get some shots up, get stretched out and stuff like that, and boom, we have practice. 12:30 to like 1, and then after that we have not 12:30 to 1, 12:30 to like 2:30, and then we have weights after, at probably like an hour, 3:30, and then we have therapy, get some treatment and stuff like that. So it's a long day, and by then I move very very slow. I know that's a lot, but I move very very slow. So I'm gonna be out the gym to like 5:30. And after that, I just go home, man. I'm not really a big video game guy. I don't play video games. I like to hang out. I probably just hang out with my roommate. I hang out with my roommate a lot, and we just chill, man. If I have homework, I do some homework. If the gym was open, because the COVID ain't let us have 24-hour access, I go back to the
Mm.
gym, depending on the day. But man, I really don't do nothing crazy. Like I said, I don't play video games, but I watch some shows and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, that's a day in my life. COVID year, oh, that's a day in my life. Yeah.
Hmm. And you know, um, it's overreported, like all the COVID stuff. Like we know what everybody goes through with all that, but what was the testing like and all these protocols like for y'all?
Um, it got annoying. It started to get annoying. I'm not gonna lie. But we got tested. So before the season started, we got tested once a week. Once we started playing games, it got bumped up to 3 times a week. So it started to become like just so extra, but it was necessary, because COVID
Mm.
is serious. So we had to do that. So that's what it looked like. And then when you have positives and stuff like that, and somebody tests positive on our team, we have to shut down for
Yeah.
a week or 10 days or so. So
Did that happen at all
yeah,
during the season?
yeah, it happened like 3 times.
Yeah,
It happened
heck
like
no.
3 times. Yeah, it
And
sucks.
were y'all? I'm assuming y'all are on commercial flights, right? Y'all don't get private.
Yeah, but we didn't do a lot of flying this year. We took one flight, and that was Ohio State, and we was on a private. That's the
Hmm.
only time. Yeah,
Y'all didn't
everywhere else.
y'all
Yeah.
drove to NC State or NC State go to y'all?
Oh, that was in the bubble. That was in the
Okay.
bubble. That was in Connecticut.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was in Connecticut. Yeah. So, but like we drove to UMBC, and I'm from Maryland, so I'm okay with that drive. But like from my other guys, that was a long drive, 7 hours, man. 8 hours on the bus, but it's normally 7 hours.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
Well, hopefully you won't have to do that anymore, ever again.
yeah.
Hopefully that's all over.
Sure.
Well, we'll transition a little more from talking about you to talking about the future. We've got the big question coming up, and I know you're ready for it. But just last year, like going through this decision to come back to school, you went through the NBA draft process, and you know that's not really reported very well. Like, what does that look like for a player from a small school, a player of your caliber, and what did that look like for you?
You had some other process last year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
last year.
Okay, yeah. So the process last year was different because of COVID. We weren't able. Nobody was able to work out if you were testing. So did a lot of Zoom interviews and stuff like that, which was cool, man. Just to be able to talk to teams and hear from them. You know, it was probably one of the best things I've ever did in my life. I'm coming from a small school and just that being your dream to play in the NBA, even though I'm not there yet, but it just felt like wow, like I have a shot. So just talking to teams and stuff like that was cool. But like the biggest thing for small school guys is just getting those opportunities to work out and show teams that you can play at that level and play especially when you play against guys coming from high major schools and stuff like that. So most definitely, it was a good process. It was different, but I enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah, and coming back, after you went through the draft process last year, and then coming back to this season, obviously, like eyes are on you now. You're an NBA prospect essentially. Like, was there a ton of added pressure there, or were you still just you?
Um, most definitely, I felt the pressure. At that point, after you talk to teams, like you have to play at a certain level.
Hmm.
It looked bad if you it looks bad if you do worse than you did. If you don't improve, it looks bad if you don't improve. That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. If you don't improve, so um, but no, at the same time, I had to talk with my, I just talked to myself and was like, just keep doing what I've been doing. That's what got me here. Don't try to change anything. Just play your game and stuff like that. I had to take tougher shots this year, which caused some of my percentages to drop.
But you were
But
still
it's
like
cool though.
50% shooting though. Like,
Yeah, I'm talking about like my 3 point percentage though. I shoot 40% my junior year. I think I down to like 33 this year, but just stuff like that. But no, man, I approached the game the same way, but I knew it was at stake going into the season for sure.
yeah, I get that, and obviously you lived up to the pressure. I mean, no one can
Yeah,
argue that you didn't deliver.
Yeah. So you mentioned getting to play against some of those guys from your more Power Five conferences or whatever during the draft process. Was there like what was it like? It's a competition, we're each trying to prove that we're the best, or was it more like we're all here and we want to learn from each other, and also we want to show these scouts or whoever that we're the best? Was it more competition, or was it more like we're all here for the same reason and we just want to get better?
Um, I think our mentality going in to every game, obviously trying to win, but most definitely trying to get better at the same time. Nobody, when we play Ohio State, when it was like what 23rd in the
Hmm.
country, nobody really has us beating them and stuff like that. So we obviously go out there with a chip on our shoulder, but like I said, like we play them close. It was a close game. They end up pulling away a little bit at the end, but it's a game's a game. We don't try to approach it any other way. Uh, we just go out there and try to compete and try to win and stuff like that. So nah, it ain't nothing too different or special. We just it'd be good to be a 23rd team in the country.
Yeah.
That's big. That's big. So obviously, like the mentality there, like you trying to really beat them, but nah, man, we have the same approach to every game for the most part.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
that's
you
pretty
got
crazy because, well, the media blows it up like with upsets, especially like this is David and Goliath and then some, and how great they should feel to be on the court, but you take it like any other game. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because once you start overthinking it, that's when you don't play your game. So most
that's what I was
definitely,
gonna say. You can't get wrapped up in the rankings when it all really comes down to is X's and O's, right? I mean, it's
exactly
stupid to look at it any other way.
right, exactly.
Hey, you guys were only one unfortunate game away from the NCAA tournament this year.
I
That's
know,
true, bro.
man.
And I know all three of us were like devastated because
Actually,
We were zoned
on
in.
on our podcast, we actually predicted y'all coming out of your conference, and we we
Man,
we circled you and your team throughout that whole process. But dude, we were tuned into that game, and I don't think y'all could have shot worse. That was tough.
yeah, that was a tough shooting. We had a tough shooting day that day, man. Yeah.
And what's my guy's name who hit like a million 3-pointers in a row for that during that conference tournament stretch?
I think talking about Connor Withers.
Yeah,
Yep,
6'8",
exactly.
6'8" white dude, whatever
Yeah,
he is.
yeah, yeah,
Dude, the man's
He's a
cash.
stud.
yeah. He can shoot, man. He's another one, man. He's gonna be really good. I think he's a sophomore this year, but he's been improved every year. So y'all should be on the lookout for him for sure. He's gonna be really good.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
that's awesome. And who's to say you guys may have put up a better fight than Hartford did against Baylor, which would have been awesome to see.
Yeah, man. I mean, man, that's crazy. He was really one game away from being in the tournament. But yeah, Baylor's tough though. They won the whole thing, so I can't even.
Yeah, true.
They're tough, bro. That's a tough team right there for sure.
But that's got to be huge motivation, right, for you? I mean, you've already talked about it. Losing that game, you want to get back there next year?
We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I can't make no promises, but we'll see, man, for sure.
Yeah, and kind of speaking of that, we got to ask the big question to you, Obi. We got to ask you like, what's next? Obviously, you were a senior, and obviously this past year didn't count towards your eligibility at all. But what's the
All right.
future looking like for you? You testing NBA waters again? You coming back to UMass Lowell? You going somewhere else? Like, what's that look like for you?
That's a great question, man. I've been getting asked this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's something I'll have to talk to my family about. We still discussing. I have no answer, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, man. I'm still trying to figure it out. I've just been, praying on it and stuff like that. And I'll
Yeah.
have an answer. I'll have a decision soon. But right now, man, I'm still just, trying to figure things out and just, playing my cards right.
Yeah. And obviously that's not something you can just decide overnight. It's a life
Yeah,
decision, huge life decision.
exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
but what's the thought process just looking like for you? Like, or what steps in that process have you gone through so far in thinking through it?
Um,
If you even have an
hmm,
answer.
I really don't.
Yeah, that
I
don't make
really
anything
don't.
up, man.
No, I really don't. Like I said, man, I'm just still trying to figure things out.
Mhm.
Obviously going back to school and winning the championship, that would be great. I don't know if I'm gonna put any more toll on my body and stuff like that. It's just things like that. You can probably go back
Mhm.
and get hurt or stuff like that. So I'm just weighing out my options. I'm just thinking. So ain't nothing crazy. But that's all I got right now.
Yeah, obviously we're gonna be keeping a keen eye out for that, and we're
For sure.
excited for you wherever you go, dude. It's gonna be awesome. We're excited to keep on following your career and just seeing the trajectory it goes on, dude. Because the sky's the limit. I mean, from like you said, from basically one scholarship offer to eighth man on the bench to superstar. Like it can still only go up from here for you, and we're pumped for that.
Sure. I got a question for y'all. How long y'all been watching me play, man?
Honestly, I don't even remember. So me and Carson, we go to NC State. Well, I just graduated from NC State.
Oh, okay.
And I look at all of our opponents, and obviously your name popped up. Obadiah Noel. At the time, you're averaging like 28 a game or something stupid. So I was just like, what? And so that was kind of the day I think both of us were introduced to you, and then we kind of just started following you from there. And then conference tournament came around, and I'm like, yo, this is like my guy. Like, watch out for him. And we watched every game in that tournament. Well, y'all were down like 16 points to UMBC, and you wanted to tear, dude. And yeah, that's kind of how we discovered you.
Oh, that's dope. So y'all from North Carolina?
Yeah.
All
Word, that's what's up. That's what's up. Dope, man. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. I was sitting in the cafeteria eating with some friends, and I was like, y'all's game was on the conference championship, and I was like, this dude, like we love him on our podcast, and we're huge fans. And then y'all had that off game, and they were like, well, what's so special? And I was like, you should watch the rest of the games.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
man.
Man.
That was a tough game for sure, man.
And that's why it sucks for smaller schools, because you really don't get an opportunity. Like, you have to win 5 games in a row to end the season, and that's it.
Exactly. It's tough. It's tough, man. For sure.
But it makes for super, super exciting and memorable games. So
yeah, it really
that's
does.
also true.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
So I just randomly thought of this question, and I didn't even run it by Bryce or Carson because I know they'll love it. Because I know that you're gonna have a great reaction or response. I can feel it. So if you had to go 1-on-1 with anyone in NBA history, present, past, doesn't matter, who you going 1-on-1 with?
Ooh.
Kobe Bryant, for sure. That's my favorite player growing up. I studied Kobe my whole life. But probably right now, I say Damian. Besides Kobe, I say Damian Lillard. He's probably my favorite player right now. Dame Dollar for sure.
Baby Dame Dollar.
Yeah, he's tough. I like his game a lot. I actually try to. I don't shoot it like he do, but I was trying to, take some stuff from his bag. But
hey, bro, we got to see you waving goodbye to people next year like he does. I swear.
That's what I'm saying, man.
That would be hard, man.
That was supposed to happen this year, the championship game, but it didn't get to that point. It didn't get to that point, man. But yeah, for sure. I'll say them two, man. For sure.
Well, dude, Obi, we really appreciate you coming on. No, we had some troubles scheduling this interview, but hey, we got it done. We're really happy you came.
That's my fault, man. I've been bullshitting, man. That's my fault, yo.
You're all good, but dude, happy it worked out. Happy we got to have you on the show. And dude, like I said, we'll be following you closely in the near future and obviously beyond that as well. But we hope to have you on the show at some other point also. But dude.
Most definitely, man. If you want to get me back on here, you have to make my decision, whatever. You got my Instagram. Just DM me, bro.
Yeah, got you.
It should be soon, though. Should be soon, man. Should be soon.
Yep, man. We'll have you back on, but take it easy, dude. Have a good night, and we appreciate it again.
Yep.
All right, man. Y'all boys.
See you, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
Sir.
Once again, we just want to say thank you to Obadiah Noel for stopping by. It was really cool to get to talk to him and kind of get a different perspective. We haven't had a star college basketball player of his tier on the show yet, so it's super exciting. Super cool guy. If you don't know him somehow, 1, you're living under a rock, and 2, you should go follow him, check him out. Super cool guy. But now let's get down to business, boys. Let's get down to this week in sports. The nitty and gritty. we're throwing a curveball. That's foreshadowing this week. We're going to start outside of the NFL, actually. We're going to start with a little bit of NCAA news. Bryce, what's going on with the NCAA right now?
Yeah, so big news this week. They just passed a new rule for all undergraduate transfers that they don't have to sit out a year after they transfer. That goes for football, that goes for basketball, etc. It's going to change the landscape of college sports as we know it just because there is such a market for transfers, and there's even going to be a 10 times bigger market for transfers now that they can play immediately. So I'm excited to see the impact that that has just on the games as a landscape. If you have a need, you can just go out and essentially free agency and just pull one out for nothing. That doesn't cost you money like free agency. So it's gonna be freaking cool, I think. And I think even teams this year are gonna take um, a lot of advantage of it, but also I think that might lead into people being unhappy transferring right away, which could also make for some weird times. What are y'all's thoughts of this?
Well, I think it's gonna be kind of a shock immediately because we're gonna see so many players transferring with the new COVID rule that is a one time thing and hopefully never really in the situation like this again. So it's like this rule is being implemented, and we're gonna see just an extreme influx of players into this market. But I mean, I don't hate it. The transfer rule was always weird. I never understood it as a kid, um, and I mean, I think it's pretty cool now that you can just leave, and I think it's gonna lead more into like how do you recruit transfer students and how do those rules go in because then we get to more gray areas that the NCAA loves.
Yeah, like when do we get NCAA tampering rules and stuff like that? I mean, I'm sure it's already in place, but when does it
Yeah, for
really start
transfers.
to become an issue? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Like
know the NCAA just lifted the recruiting, I don't know what to call it. The recruit,
ban, I guess, or like
yeah,
hold, maybe the better word.
hiatus.
Yeah, hiatus is probably the best word.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess that had to go hand in hand with that transfer thing, so that way they can start reaching out to people. But I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I think it makes maybe the NCAA or college basketball just in general more competitive
Hmm.
because, like, as much as they're gonna say like it's just COVID and stuff like that, I think also they're starting to lose some of those big name recruits to other avenues of going to the NBA, like going overseas
Right.
and playing. So I think maybe this is something that people wanted, and they were finally willing to give it because they saw that people were going another direction. So
Yep. And also deep down, kind of hoping that our guest Obie Noel kind of takes advantage of the COVID rule and this rule and comes to NC State and plays.
Yeah. Well,
But I mean,
he could have graduated and came here. That's
yeah.
the thing that's different with this. You can leave after a year or two and be perfectly fine. And I think we'll probably see a lot more of this in football because that third year is so important. Or sorry, that fourth year if you're going to stay after your first 3 years. But college basketball is weird, and I think we're gonna know about college basketball and the future of it as soon as we get past the NBA age changing back.
Hmm. And as soon as also Obadiah Noel transfers, because we'll just know who wins the national championship next year.
Yeah, of course,
very
or
true.
at least make the tournament.
I fully support that decision 100%.
I think I do
Especially
too.
especially because like how often does it happen where you have this great mid-major player who has an amazing year and then under the old rule they transfer, they sit a year and then you never hear anything about them ever again. It's just like they lose that momentum, from not getting to play. So, I think this will be
Yep.
good.
I'm excited to see how it goes too, but we won't spend too much time on the transfer rule. We'll see how it plays out and keep y'all updated if any big names, aka Obadiah Noel, decide to take advantage of the COVID rule and the transfer rule. But now we're moving on to what we usually start with. Northern Football League.
National Football League.
I think that's Northern. Yeah.
I think yeah. No,
Um,
no fun league. Wait,
not
no, that's not right.
not not no flutes loitering, but
True,
None.
true, none at
none
all.
No flutes left.
at all. But we got not the most exciting week ever in NFL. A couple pretty big headlines we might skim over for y'all. But we have Jadeveon Clowney, who is fully expected to sign with the Browns, actually ended up signing with the Browns for a deal worth up to $10 million. They have three number one overall picks on that team. That's wild. But that'll give them. I don't even know if it gives them anything at this point. He kind of sucked the past 2 years. What do y'all think?
I I mean, I always talk about and I always kind of try to bring in this perspective of guys that you sign because one, they can play, but maybe they're not great, but they're big names. And I think Jadeveon Clowney is one of those bigger names that you bring in. Uh, Helps your publicity and helps you sell some more tickets maybe. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what he does with Myles Garrett being on the other end, absorbing so much of the attention. So
Yeah, I mean everything's easier when you throw in, a top 3 pass rusher on the other side. So I mean, I don't think it makes that big of a difference. I don't expect Jadeveon Clowney to play like anything much greater than a replacement level player. But if there is any place for him to have a chance to, I guess the word is, get back to his old self, um, then this would be the place because things are going to be a lot easier for him with the Browns than they have been the past 2 years, either not playing and jumping around or, with the Seahawks and the Titans. But I mean, the Browns have a really good D line. They have a good defense that can be great at times, and they're overall a promising team. I know a lot of people are picking them to win their division, and I think Jadeveon Clowney is just a player that is going to have to uh, take a step and be a big name on that team for them to be able to make the step to win
Yeah,
playoff
and
games.
I mean they were already close last year to beating the Chiefs. I mean, given Mahomes got hurt, but um, maybe that'll give them extra edge in the playoffs as well. Another big NFL news this week. I'm gonna let one of y'all take this since it's kind of sentimental.
Carson,
I mean, you can take it, Austin.
Already sending our F's in the chat.
true.
Crying.
Well, it had to happen sometime, right? But it just happened to happen now. That was a lot of happens in one sentence. It so happens,
So
but
many.
but Julian Edelman announced his retirement this week. I can't say I'm surprised, especially given the the health struggles and stuff that he's had, and just being unable to stay on the field consistently this past season, um, and the state that the team is in right now. Not really something that you want to risk your physical health over. So, yeah, it's not surprising. We'll see what happens in regards to Hall of Fame with him. Um, but still a great career full of a lot of memories, I'm sure. And he got to be, best friends, I like to imagine, with Tom Brady, which is all I ever want in my life. So,
Of course. I mean, you be Super Bowl MVP, and then I'm sure Tom will notice you.
true.
But this is obviously big news. Like, he deserves recognition. He retired from the NFL. Congratulations. It did end up being like more because of the injury that he had last season than I first expected. I kind of just thought he was, hanging him up. But he's gonna be missed. I mean, it can't be overstated what leadership he brought, and what just him being in the locker room did, not only for the team but for the young receiver room, especially last year. But also, I think they're sending him off, or he is walking off into the sunset, um, like just knowing that he had a great career, and that this is the time. And so, hey, congratulations to him, and we wish him the best. And I mean, I hope he stays in the game, or in media or something, because I mean, he's an incredible personality. And congratulations. I love him.
Now we wait.
Congratulations.
We wait for the Gronk effect again.
Yeah, we wait for him to come out of retirement next year and
Yeah,
go to the
he'll go to the Bucks. But guys, I don't know if we maybe had a hot take early on in our podcast careers or not. But all right, posing a question. Are the Cardinals now a ring chasing destination after we adamantly said, no, they now have JJ Watt, AJ Green, James Conner, Malcolm Butler, and Rodney Hudson. That's some major upgrades and pretty big names. Obviously, the JJ Watt, the AJ Green, and Malcolm signing those are all huge names, obviously, ones for one particular moment in sports history. But like James Conner and Rodney Hudson are no people to mess around with too. They're very good at their respected positions. Um, okay, what does that division look like now? That division is absolutely loaded beyond belief, especially if the 49ers get a quarterback.
Yeah, it's kind
Well,
of like a snowball effect, right? Like it's just been building and building, and the division has just been getting better and better. And now you've got a lot of just respect, or you've got a division full of respectable teams now. So
but also I think guys with names like this are just more going to bring attention to the team because at the end of the day, J.J. Watt isn't going to get better. A.J. Green could miss 8 games. James Conner was one of the worst running backs in the league last time he played. Malcolm Butler, um, a lot of people remember him for the play, of course. It's one of the most memorable plays in sports history, and forget the fact that he was a top corner in the league the next 2 seasons. But he's not what he used to be. His time with the Titans was god awful. And Rodney Hudson is the best player out of all these 5, but the fact that the Raiders no longer have him kind of puts up a few flags for me. So I think this is good publicity for the Cardinals. I think these are guys that can make a difference. But at the end of the day, I think every single one of them has their own risks. So ring chasing destination. I think it all lies on Kyler.
yeah,
He's going to have to make the step that he made into last season again, and he's going to have to, be the best quarterback in that division. And I think the rest of the roster can support him being that for them to be a contender, legit contender.
Also, Chandler Jones will be back, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, he's still one of the best.
Yeah, that defense is kind of freaking
Definitely
good.
the most disrespected pass rusher in the league, no doubt.
I'm just super excited to see Malcolm Butler get to play the Seahawks twice a year.
I'm sure.
Russell
I'm sure
Wilson's
somebody will say
to-
something about running the football probably once or twice.
Yeah, he
He's
just gets to
gonna
wave at Pete
absolutely-
Carroll, say thank
He's
you.
gonna haunt Russell Wilson's nightmares for the rest of eternity. He already
Yeah.
does, but even more now.
I was on the celebrating side of that, and I still think it's just said 100 times more than it should be.
Should have ran with Lynch,
They should have won it on the goal line. Shut up.
but they should have.
Shut up. He just got stuffed.
Hey Carson, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't. It's the
Sure.
past. We're unqualified.
Yeah.
The ring has been won.
But guys, that's all the NFL news we got. Pretty boring week. Whatever. NFL draft's coming up, which isn't boring. Whatever. But now going to some NBA news. Some more F's in the chat. LaMarcus Aldridge retired. He wasn't healthy, so he put himself over basketball and his family over basketball. You gotta respect it. Great career, great dude. Kind of weird timing just because he signed with the Nets, but all respect to him.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Kind of sucks that it was based off of health, but
Yeah.
Congratulations to him and good luck to him.
Yeah. And now my question becomes, if the Nets win, does he get a ring?
Yes.
So there's
Played,
still a
4
chance.
games, 6 games.
There's still a
There's
chance
still a
for
chance
another
he's
ring.
an NBA champion. So does that ring that he would hypothetically get Obviously, he'll probably still make the Hall of Fame because it's the NBA. But will that go into consideration since he was on the team for 2 weeks?
No, I mean
It's the
maybe,
NBA, so
but it
maybe.
won't matter. It won't matter. I think he's guaranteed and probably was a couple years ago.
I said hypothetically.
Yes.
So it would go into a hypothetical decision
Not a
where he
chance.
needed a ring to get into the Hall of Fame.
At least from the media perspective, I imagine that they would put won a ring in 2021 with the Brooklyn Nets. I would guess. I don't know about the actual Hall of Fame selection process though.
I mean,
But that is made up of the
maybe
media.
if he was on the roster and didn't play, but no, he's done. He's gone.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. But I would hopefully say no if I was voting, but I don't know what actually goes into that, what the real rules are. But outside of that, the Chef Curry's on fire. I'll let Austin take this because it's hard for me to even talk about this.
Yeah, and Austin loves him.
I do. I mean, the Warriors were definitely falling apart without him. Now that he's come back, he's had 7 or 8 straight 30-plus point games, just lighting it up. He had a chance to set the single game 3-point record the other day, but Steve Kerr held him out. Probably a good decision, but still, you just like to see that kind of, I want to go out there and I just want to keep playing, especially after they lost by, I'll say 60, even though it wasn't 60. So, and I mean, they just won a game by
It was
30
60.
plus. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
really
he's
shows.
back.
He is still a top 10 player in the league.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't deny it. The man's freaking on fire. He's fun to watch. I hate it, but he's it. If anyone tries to argue that, oh, Larry Bird was a better shooter, but he just didn't shoot as much. No, he wasn't. Um, Obviously the game today is tailored for people like Steph Curry, but Steph Curry made the game tailored for himself.
Yeah, I was going to say
Literally.
he
He
has
was literally a
changed.
renaissance.
Yeah, he has changed the NBA forever, and he's probably
Mhm.
the most marketable player in the league right now.
I mean,
Just because
yeah.
kids love him, right? So
But
Gosh, the
men
amount
love
of little
LeBron.
kids with Steph Curry shirts on that I just want to put a brick through their head.
Gosh, I just want to curb stomp
in
them.
game.
But yeah, we all know, like Austin said, kids like Curry and men love LeBron. So
Amen.
a little bit different. A little bit.
Congratulations, Steph Curry, for
And
playing well, but they're a
no one
500
likes
basketball
Giannis.
team, and they're on the very edge of the playoff picture. So this is only just us saying it because we feel like we have to. It's not actually relevant, and I doubt they'll do anything in the playoffs. But hey, congratulations to Steph Curry. He's a basketball player and he's not hurt now. So,
No.
but
True.
enough NBA. There's nothing happening in the NBA. We've
Hate
got
it.
3 weeks left, and well,
That's it?
everybody's in playoff mode. I think it's 3.5 weeks. Everyone's at 16, 17 games.
Yeah.
Well, so when the piss is LeBron and AD coming back?
LeBron's supposed to come back. I believe within the next few days, and AD the next week.
Okay, good. So they're still on pace to come back and
Yeah,
dominate.
they're both on pace to come back very soon, and have a little bit of time to gear up for the playoffs.
Good. I mean, it won't matter if they come back the day the playoffs start, but
Yeah, no, but the thing is for them to be back, for them to avoid falling into that 7 to 10 range to be in the play-in.
Mhm.
But enough NBA. We love it, but we hate it at this time because we're just ready for the playoffs. We're ready for meaningful
We
games.
hate the regular season.
And we're ready for stuff like we saw last year with Jamal Murray versus Donovan Mitchell.
Speaking of that though, Jamal Murray tore his ACL, everyone.
Yeah.
Sorry
So
to
maybe
Jamal Murray.
maybe no
We won't
Jamal
get to
Murray.
see him absolutely go nuclear this year's playoffs. He was definitely one of the most exciting players in the bubble. T's and P's, and a quick recovery to him.
MVP recovery.
But moving on, we got a little bit of baseball. We like to touch on baseball a little bit because I love it and Austin loves it. But this week was a pretty important week as there were 2 no hitters within the past week, which is absolutely crazy. Um, Usually it's like on average like 3 per year, so it's pretty crazy to see 2 in a week. Um, but there have been 2 in a day before, so it's like it's cool, but it's not historic. But Joe Musgrove of the Padres threw the 306th no hitter in Major League history, and Carlos Rodon of the White Sox threw the 307th. Congratulations to them. I watched both of those games, and they were, well, let's just say I couldn't have went out there and swung about 100 times. So it's really cool to see guys actually like playing to the level where they're the best player out there, and it's just domination. So that's really cool. But that's just a touch on baseball this week, where uh, we're just getting into the season and getting into the meat of things here.
Yeah.
Here
And
on Unqualified Sports Talk.
there was almost another no hitter today, I think. I think someone had one like 7 1/3 in or something like that, which I would say 7 1/3 is almost, but
7 1/3 is definitely almost.
That's crazy. Like, I mean, and Rodon, the one last night, was almost a perfect game. He hit a batter in the 9th, right? Like, so close. So close.
And it was off of his back foot. Like, gosh.
Yeah, he couldn't have just stepped over it for the perfect game, but it's whatever. It's whatever. But it's exciting. So
it's exciting, but we're looking ahead to this weekend. We've got some exciting stuff happening this weekend. We've got fights. We in our core just love beating each other to the point of just being not able to go anymore. So UFC, we've got Whitaker and Gastelum this weekend. I don't think there's anything too exciting on the undercard. But Robert Whitaker versus Kevin Gastelum. Bryce, please tell me what you think about this fight.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. Obviously, Whitaker Costa, that was originally planned, would have been the 10 times more marketable because Paulo Costa looks like a god. But winner of that would have probably gotten another shot at Izzy, which, of course, that's what you want. You want a shot at the title, right?
Of course.
But Gastelum, obviously a top contender, gave Izzy his most memorable fight to date. He's fallen off, so this is kind of resurgence for him. If he wins, he's kind of back on his track towards fighting for the belt again against Izzy. And Robert Whitaker, he's won 4 of his last 5 fights. The one loss he has is against Izzy, but I don't think the same Robert Whitaker is fighting anymore. Or actually, Izzy stole the belt from him. Not the same Robert Whitaker anymore. I expect him to put Gastelum out. Maybe in the 3rd round. If not, it'll go to decision. But I totally expect Whitaker to win. I don't think anything's crazy is going to happen, even though Gastelum can always be dangerous. But Robert Whitaker's going to win. He's going to get another shot at Izzy. And I wouldn't be too surprised if he takes the belt back. You know, Izzy's one of my favorite fighters ever. Robert Whitaker's a beast. And he's such a nice guy. And really likable. And has the coolest accent of all time because it's Australian. So, no. So, yeah, that's kind of all we got there. My eyes might not be on that fight Saturday night, but it has pretty big and decent implications. But honestly, there's another fight that's not in the UFC that might have more ramifications for the UFC, and that's Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. I mean, guys, how in the world does this just happen? I mean, Jake he's literally doing this essentially for money and to get his name out there, but also to maybe prove something? Question mark.
Yeah, I can't tell, like, with these guys, with the Paul brothers, and then with the other YouTubers that have been boxing. Like, I can't tell if they're doing it because they seriously want to make some sort of, name for themselves in boxing, or if it's just about, like, it was something that they were interested in and they were like, yeah, I can make money and, uh, you know, grow my brand through it. I can't tell, but it's an interesting phenomenon to me. So
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's definitely like a mix of driving forces here because, well, they obviously already have a lot of money, but also like they seem to really like train and want to be boxers rather than just show up and do it for the money. But I mean, as you said, it's an interesting phenomenon, and I mean, I love it. I wish I wish that it wasn't as like huge as it is because a lot of people it opens it up to a lot of criticism, and I do believe that uh, it's more respectful than it gets credit for because of the hate for a lot of these guys.
true.
Well, I agree, but also at the same time, it deserves as much attention because Jake Paul's a huge name and he's trying to promote himself. So whatever he touches, it's kind of like the Conor effect in UFC, is going to turn to gold. It just happens to be Ben Askren, probably the best fighter in UFC history who doesn't know how to punch. So Jake Paul kind of lucked out there. You can market Ben Askren as a super good UFC fighter, um, but then he's really more one-dimensional in the UFC, and that one dimension doesn't involve hitting anybody else as hard as he
Yeah, I
possibly
mean
can.
he's an Olympic champion wrestler.
Yeah, NCAA and Olympic champion wrestler. Um,
But then
so
again, it's a
obviously
fighter. It's a real fighter,
he
and
is a
that's what
real
he wanted.
fighter. It is, but like at the same time, gosh, I wish it was Conor fighting Jake Paul, and just turn his or anybody else who can throw a punch. Sean O'Malley, he would knock out Jake Paul, and he's probably 50 pounds lighter than him. That's not even exaggeration. Um, but I do think that, I mean, Carson, you're like, oh, it doesn't deserve like as much eyes, as much attention as it does. But me being the UFC junkie, my eyes will be focused on that instead of the
Oh, I
Whitaker
mean
guy
mine
complaint.
too. I just think that it being as big as it is opens it up to unnecessary criticism. Is really what I'm
Okay,
getting at.
Yeah,
that's fair.
yeah, and I
Because I
think a
Especially,
lot of
do
people.
believe most of that criticism is unnecessary.
Yeah, and a lot of people choose to not see that these guys are actually putting in like real time and effort to be boxers. Like, they don't see that.
right.
They're just like, oh, these YouTubers, they're like, let's just box. Yeah. And they don't see that they're actually training and having camps and stuff like that. So, but Carson, I'm going to put a matchup in front of you and you tell me yay or nay. Ready?
Go.
Jake Paul, Tyler Ninja Blevins.
Oh, come on, give me Ninja. Give me Ninja. You know why? He's got the heart and the desire to win.
It's true.
All right,
And the
guys.
Adidas sponsorship.
Well,
All right,
I mean, if you get paid to do one thing, like you should just be able to do it perfectly.
my turn to pose a question to y'all.
All right.
For $1 million, would you? We're just kind of progress this as it goes. For $1 million, would you step in the ring with Jake Paul?
Yes.
Yes, I would do
Okay,
anything
okay,
for me.
okay, okay, okay. Conor McGregor,
Yes.
Yes, I would do anything for $1 million.
Francis Ngannou.
No,
We're getting
he would
closer
kill me.
to no, but maybe still yes.
No, when you're asking these questions, it does not get worse than Francis Ngannou. Like, yeah, it can be said, blah blah blah. He's not a boxer or whatever, but he punches
Right.
harder than anyone ever recorded.
Okay,
Ever.
my
History.
in between Conor and Francis Ngannou was gonna be Kimbo Slice.
Rest in peace. May he rest in peace.
Absolutely.
And for that reason, I would
You
not
would
out of
step in the ring
respect.
with him, even though he
No, I
probably
would not
weighs.
out of respect.
Okay, then the Black Beast.
My balls was hot. Yeah, I'd probably fight Black Beast for $1 million.
No. Not now,
I think I
Bryce.
would too. No, I think too because what? It's max gonna cost me really bad damage and with plastic surgery, $150,000 out of my bank account.
Concussion, probably having to
Jaw surgery.
Broken
drink
orbital.
your food for months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe some rearrangement with plastic surgery. That's only $150,000 in my bank account. I still got 850 G's left, baby.
Yeah, to bet on fights.
To bet
So-
on. I'm gonna
so-
put it all on Ben Askren beating Jake Paul this Saturday.
So, Bryce, a little early
Mhm.
trivia question for you. It's not really trivia,
Okay.
but who, out of all those people that you just mentioned, would you give Carson the best shot to make it out of the first round against?
That's tough.
What? It'd have to be Jake Paul.
Okay, I just ask.
Because he didn't knock Nate Robinson out in the first round, I don't think.
No, it was like early second round.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
definitely
third punch
Jake
of the second
Paul.
round.
But
Conor-
Nate
Conor
Robinson
Mc-
is an athlete.
Conor McGregor would knock Carson out in probably under 30 seconds.
That's fair.
Probably less than that. Then who would I say next?
Kimbo Slice and Ngannou.
Kimbo Slice. I think Carson could have the potential to run away maybe a little bit from Kimbo just because he's huge. The Black Beast, sorry, Carson. Francis Ngannou. I think he would do an uppercut and it would go as high as Bobby Shmurda's hat did in the music
Oh
video.
my gosh!
But-
my head would never come down.
The detail that we forgot too is that Carson would have literally the easiest head to hit in the entire UFC.
That's tough. That's tough.
It has a gravitational pull of its own.
It literally does.
That's tough.
So, but hey, Carson, maybe they'd let you wear the sweatband, the headband. No, the
I
sweatband.
think even then, if Francis Ngannou is wearing a boxing glove and I'm wearing headgear, he could knock me out in one punch. Lights
Yes.
out.
What about a football helmet?
No, but
And a boxing glove?
maybe.
Okay,
Maybe I could
the force would definitely knock you down though.
Oh, I would probably have a concussion.
I'd probably
but
break
I
your
might
ear.
Not, pass out.
Okay,
Well,
I would settle
guys,
for a
I'd love
batting
this fight,
helmet
dude.
then.
All right, betting odds for Carson not getting a concussion from Francis Ngannou punching him while Carson has a football helmet on and Francis Ngannou has a boxing glove on.
I think
Plus
I think
500.
that for me getting a concussion, it would be like the minus, 25,000 favorite, and then
Like
me
Amanda
getting
Nunes
a
fighting
concussion.
anyone.
Yeah, and then me getting a concussion would be like, whatever, 150 million to 1. Probably. I use two different versions of odds, but I guess plus 150 million.
I would put $1 on each side and just see what happens.
Well, if the favorite wins, then you get back like not even a penny.
Exactly.
And that might sound like exaggeration, but I
money.
don't think so.
Yeah. That's what we call return on investment.
That's just
Big
that's
beat
just
your
good.
puppy,
That's
dude.
just a good hypothetical. That might be the best hypothetical we've ever had.
Thank you, Bryce. As
Francis, if you're listening to this, let's make it happen. It would have to be obviously more than $1 million, or else I wouldn't do it.
Yes. Let's go to our old high school parking lot. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, I promise. But please tune in to the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight. I know we will be. Watch along with us. But give these guys a little bit of respect. They've been training for it, and they deserve the spotlight.
True.
And congratulations to the winners of the fights this weekend, even though we don't know who they are yet, and they haven't fought yet.
And thank you for reviving boxing, YouTubers.
Hey, thank you.
Actually, for real.
Kind of wild. I mean, Tyson came back, all because of, Jake Paul. Not really, but kind of.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you a boxer's name other than Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, and Manny Pacquiao. So, never mind. Ryan Garcia. Thought of another one.
That's tough. Triple G. Canelo.
Guys, is it time for segments?
I think we're moving to this.
I want to say something before we go into segments. It's not a trivia question, but it's just a fact.
Okay.
As a male growing up in the USA, you have a 0.00000000281% chance of making the NBA. When you're a
Wow.
7-foot male growing up in the United States, you have a 17% chance of making the NBA.
Wow.
I should have just been
That's
7
wild.
foot.
Honestly, if only we could just all be 7 feet tall.
But think
So,
about how weird
guys,
that is, because you could be 6'11" and you'd be in the other bracket, but 7 foot. So, anyways.
Wow.
but yeah, apparently if you take the COVID vaccine, then you grow to 7 feet, so that's why I'm doing it.
Oh, wait.
Wow. And then you'll be in the. Then you have a 1 in 6 chance of being in the NBA. Wow.
No matter what age you are.
Yeah. So that's pretty
crazy.
cool. But now for the
Well,
real
hey,
trivia. Carson.
Congratulations to the 7-footers.
Segments.
It's my week. I get the trivia question this week. And I hate to alienate Bryce a little bit, but with the 2 big games in baseball this week, I wanted to ask a baseball trivia question. But first, I have a little fact. And it's not quite a fact, but I just want to say Joe Musgrove and Carlos Rodon, who just threw no-hitters 5 days apart, were born 6 days apart in 1992.
It's a
So could
conspiracy.
you imagine if they had
That
been,
means they're
if
going to
they
get
had-
married 4 days apart.
if they had, if those were both 5 days apart or 6 days apart, would have been a conspiracy. Would have been awesome.
Biggest coincidence in history.
True.
Yep. Biggest coincidence in history. But no, my trivia question, mainly because I just want to hear Bryce's guess. As that last no hitter was lost in the 9th inning, who and when, or even a team, was the most recent perfect game? There's only been 23 in history. I know you know it, but I want to hear Bryce's guess.
What was the question?
Who threw the last perfect game? There have been 23 all time in baseball history.
I know one pitcher in the MLB right now.
All right, then
Nice.
Justin Verlander.
Hey, that's
tough. He is one of 5 players to throw more than 2 no-hitters, but he has never thrown a perfect game, and he is not the most recent. All right, Austin, give him the team.
it's the
player.
Seattle Mariners.
Yeah. All right, Bryce, you now have a hint. Please give us a funnier guess.
Clayton Kershaw.
Ooh, he
That's a
plays for the
good
Dodgers,
guess.
but he is one of the best
That's a
pitchers in the league.
That is such a good guess, and he's a guy that if you're ever gonna watch baseball, you actually have to watch him because he's just.
Am I correct in saying, Carson, he is probably, for both me and you, our second favorite pitcher in the league?
If we combine us, yeah, I have my obvious number one.
Yeah, and I have a
who's
different
actually
number
the
one.
Answer to this question.
I have a different number one.
He's my favorite athlete in all of sports.
Yeah.
All right,
But
Austin.
it's King Felix. Felix Hernandez. It was, what was it, 2012?
Yep.
And it was
2012,
1-0.
which is pretty hilarious. But actually, in 2012, there were 3 perfect games pitched, and there have only been 23 in history. How crazy is that?
Guys, announcement. I know one more pitcher.
And who is
Who's
that?
that?
Because of last week. Max Scherzer.
Max
Oh,
Scherzer,
yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, we were sitting
He
there.
looks like
and
he looks like my
popped-
friend's dog.
He popped up on the TV, and Bryce looked at him and just started laughing because of his eyes being different colors. Gosh, Bryce, come on.
Yeah. We have to introduce
But
you to
yeah, talk
Shohei
about
Ohtani,
incredible. Oh my gosh. Dude,
pitcher and hitter.
my second
I
favorite
thought-
player.
Never mind.
What?
Nothing.
Okay, you can tell us later.
Carson, who caught that perfect game? Counter trivia question.
The Mariners
Big
perfect?
Yeah. Big
Gosh,
Poppy.
that's tough.
Because I actually know all 3 catchers. I don't remember all 3 pitchers, but I remember all 3 catchers from the 2012 perfect games.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the pitchers were obvious. One of them was Matt Cain.
Yeah.
Does that mean Buster Posey caught his?
Yes.
I don't know.
The other one is AJ Przynski. I don't remember who the pitcher was, but
That was the White Sox. That was Philip Humber.
yeah. And then it was
I only remember that
John.
because he never did anything.
Yeah, it was John Jaso for the Mariners.
That's tough. But yeah,
So
that's it. That's my trivia for the week. We're we're uh, we're in love with Bryce's baseball knowledge,
true.
and we're testing it every week.
Yeah. And Clayton
So I
Kershaw will
hate to
probably
segue
go to the
myself.
Mariners. But
I hate to segue myself. but I
speaking of
think
the
it's time to
Dodgers,
hook 'em. I think it's time to hook 'em, baby.
hook 'em. Dodgers.
Please intro me.
Carson Hookham.
Okay,
And
thank you.
And Buster Posey, I know him once.
True.
Yeah, all it takes is being probably the most prominent, one of the most prominent postseason players of our lifetimes.
Yeah. Getting
But it's
absolutely ran over.
All right, Hook'em picks of
Except
the
he was a
week.
catcher. I know that.
He is a catcher.
Yeah, we just said that.
Oh, well, I didn't hear it, but I knew that.
Okay, yeah. All right, Hook'em picks of the week. We're starting with the Dodgers, as Austin said. Dodgers at Padres Friday night. Tatis will be coming back for this game, but it won't matter because, well, my pick for the NL Cy Young this year, Walker Buehler, is going to be on the mound, and he's going to run through them, and it's not even going to be close. Hook'em Dodgers.
Hookham.
And
Walker
this is kinda
Buehler.
this is
Texas
kinda
Ranger.
just them being A, unbeatable, and B, unbeatable. So Hook'em Dodgers. But on to the Suns at the Bucks Monday night. Little NBA action. The Suns have been, well, I would say a surprise team, but with Chris Paul coming, it was expected for them to be better. But for them to be, a top 3 team in the West, that's very surprising. But I'm taking the Bucks because of, 7 feet tall Giannis. Giannis will have 38, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. That's not a Hook'em pick, but that's just going to happen.
That's a Hook'em side bet.
Hook'em Bucks, they're winning by 11.
Well, Hook'em Milwaukee.
And then, don't know why this is the last pick because it happens between the first 2 picks. But Saturday night, Jake Paul, Ben Askren. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I don't know who to pick still, which means go with the more exciting pick. So I have to pick Jake Paul. And I mean, I don't know. I just think it would be funny if he won. I really don't know how to look at this fight because, well, I mean, it's hilarious that it's happening. Like 5 years ago, who would have ever thought that the guy who was famous because he dabbed on national news or whatever would be fighting a UFC fighter? But Ben Askren, he can't get a flying knee to the head, so maybe he'll thrive. But give me Jake Paul.
I have money on
I
Ben
don't know.
Askren winning. Fun fact.
And there's no shame in that.
Not
He's
at all.
coming in at
Jake Paul, third
plus-
round, I guess.
I think plus 130 or 120 for Ben Askren. It was like plus 200 at the start.
Really?
But then
I was
people
going to say,
realized
I'm not
that's
surprised.
stupid.
It's incredibly close.
Yeah, at this point it's basically a toss up, I think.
I hope it's
Yeah.
exciting. So,
It will
So,
be.
I never thought I'd say this. Hook'em Jake Paul, I guess.
hey, Hook'em Jake Paul.
I think
Wow.
either
Hook'em
way,
Ben
it's
Askren.
gonna be a win-win situation in this fight. It's just gonna be fun.
True.
So
Well,
get you some chicken wings. and
I do
tune in.
think though that UFC's maybe it could leave a bad taste in people's mouth if Askren loses.
I mean, also like he's 2 years removed and he lost like 4 out of his last 5 in the UFC. So like whatever, right?
Sure.
Yeah. No one's
Okay.
running to give that man another UFC contract. So,
Mm-mm.
but hey, Hook'em picks of the week. They've been set, and that means that they've already been spoken into existence. So, congratulations,
Except for
Jake
the
Paul.
fight, because Brett has money on it. I
True.
want him.
Congratulations on the first fight where both of them win, so that we all win here.
Mm-hmm.
And then congratulations, Dodgers and Bucks. But we've got
Good
another
wins.
fan favorite and personal favorite of our segments. Top 3 this week. We're going to be asking the age-old question: what are the best 3, or the top 3, I guess, breakfast foods? We'll start with Bryce.
Yeah,
we'll-
coming.
We'll say
What?
no. Obviously, no like cereals, and that's pretty much the only thing.
Yeah. Cereal has its own. It's just
Of
cereal
course.
Yeah,
category.
cereal is just cereal. Okay, I can
Yeah.
agree with that. I didn't have
It
any.
is a breakfast food.
At number 3, coming in with really good pancake.
Mm,
I'm a pancake guy over waffles. The crispiness of the pancake, freaking elite. I don't really know where has my best pancakes. I don't think it's IHOP. It's probably some hole in the wall place somewhere I've been. But yeah, pancake number 3 with maybe a side of sausage and a over easy egg. Number 2, we got some homemade biscuits and gravy. Holy crap, it's one of the best meals of all time. Sausage, country, home style gravy. That's just one of the best perks of living in the South.
true.
But the best perk of living in the South is my number 1 choice. Grits. Some cheese grits with butter and salt. And maybe a little bit of goat cheese, throw it in there because it's freaking good. And that has to be hands down my favorite breakfast food. Even not for breakfast. I can eat grits for a snack, for lunch, for dinner, for midnight snack, for dinner. And yeah, grits are so freaking good, y'all. And that's probably the food I'm best at making. And I love it so much. Fun fact though, the corn capital of the US besides Nebraska, because they're the corn huskers, Indiana, where all it is cornfields. They don't eat grits there. And I think that's very weird. I don't even know what they are. So it is a little interesting. Because whenever my mom's family's from Indiana, whenever they come to the South, to North Carolina, they're always like, what the heck is this? It's grits. It's the best food ever. Breakfast food. But yep, popcorn somebody.
Carson?
Yeah, sure. 3, I'm going to have eggs because, well, eggs are, like, always good. I don't think they're, I would never, like, go super, super far out of eat them and make them. And obviously scrambled is superior. But I think they're just good, and they're a classic part of a breakfast. 2, two is tough, but I'm gonna say bacon. I think it's the superior breakfast meat of all the meats. It is overrated, but it's still really good, especially if it's like just at that point where it's just not quite crispy, but it's just a little bit crispy. And then number 1 is just a good pancake. You cannot beat it. You cannot beat a good pancake. Still warm with butter and maple syrup.
And it's syrup for all of our listeners, never syrup.
True.
None of that. None of that. Whack.
Wow. Well, we're all 3 going to have a common food on our list.
Which means it's pancakes.
Which means it's pancakes, but mine's not at number 3. So my number 3 is actually something I'm surprised neither of you mentioned, and maybe you'll say it's not a breakfast food, but strawberry Pop-Tarts. They're just so good.
That is definitely a breakfast.
They are so unbelievably bad for you, but they're just so good. And then number 2 is pancakes. It's just waffles do not compare, and that I will die holding that. Like I will take that to the grave. That pancakes are just better.
They are.
They are. Shut up, anyone else.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Shut up, anyone else.
They're so good.
They're both good, but it's unreal how much better pancakes.
And I've never seen like a 40-inch waffle, but I've seen a 40-inch pancake. So.
And I've seen a 40-inch.
All right.
Now that we're back from our break, my first pick, my number 1, is actually a combination of a few foods, but it's the Bojangles bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Dang.
If you're not from the South, you don't have Bojangles, and that makes you
the worst.
Empty inside. Because Bojangles is so good. Everyone will say, but the chicken biscuit is better. No. The bacon, egg, and cheese, it's so good. It's cheaper. It's just good. It's so good.
God want me to have a
40 cents cheaper. I mean, matters.
It does. That's 40
yeah,
cents
but I'm
of
team
seasoned
sausage,
fries.
egg, and cheese.
That's
Mm.
tough. Okay,
Sausage
steak biscuit underrated.
underrated, and the sausage biscuit underrated, but
I like
links
sausage, so.
links greater than patties. Don't
Dude,
at me.
Links are so good.
Do people not in the South have country fried steak?
Probably.
I don't know.
Also, I just
I
want to
don't think
give
so.
a quick sports update. Our first live sports update. Vladdy just hit a home run.
No. Home run derby champ this year, I'm calling it.
And it was a dinger, to quote Big
I'm
Al.
going to go watch it after this. But we have to wrap up. Last note, last segment. This week in sports history, and kind of this day for our recording day. But Thursday is Jackie Robinson Day, April 15th. It is the anniversary of him making his debut for the Dodgers in 1947. But, I mean, it's whatever can be said has been said about Jackie Robinson. And now we're at, I think, the 18th year of the MLB celebrating officially this day and having everyone wear his number. So, hey, congratulations. Nothing but love, T's and P's, whatever we want to say, everything
Absolutely.
we can say. It's a great day in sports.
And if
It
you haven't
is.
watched the movie about him, it's really, really good. So
It is, and it's educational and good.
So, also everyone looks sweet wearing 42. So,
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of like it's forbidden, and then when you do see it, it's awesome. I mean, no one's worn it in I think 7 years because obviously players were grandfathered into wearing it when they outlawed it, is what I'm calling it. But yeah, that's our last little note. We definitely wanted to mention it because it's actually one of the biggest days in the history of sports, and all we love is sports. But at the end of the day, we are unqualified. Don't forget it. And if you're qualified or unqualified listening, let us know. We love you. And tune in next week for more unqualified and a little bit of qualified talk on whatever we're gonna get into next week. So thank you and congratulations.
Maybe top 3 seafood restaurants. But probably
Maybe.
not.
Maybe.
Pier
Maybe.
601.
Congratulations on episode 10.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations,
decade.
double digits.
Yep, we're in the decade.
Yep. Thanks for the best 10 years of our lives, y'all.
Best 10
Thank you.
best 10 episodes of our lives. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.